Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, experienced an unparalleled rise to fame that continues to captivate fans decades after his death. But let's take a sharp turn into the specifics of his career, focusing on a crucial period marked by chart-topping hits and innovative music. Between 1961 and 1969, Elvis released a string of powerful songs that not only dominated the charts but also left a lasting mark on music history. In 1961, Elvis delivered two massive hits. Surrender and Lonely Man soared to the top of the US charts, spending 2 weeks and 4 weeks there respectively. These songs showcased Elvis's ability to blend rock and roll with country influences, a sound that resonated deeply with audiences. The B-side of Surrender Lonely Man, US number 32, though not a hit, hinted at the rich musical tapestry Elvis was weaving. The UK embraced these songs too, with Surrender Lonely Man topping the charts for 2 weeks and 4 weeks respectively, solidifying Elvis's status as a global star. The following year brought more success with the Elvis by Request EP. This collection included Flaming Star, which reached number 14 on the US singles chart, demonstrating Elvis's continued popularity. However, an interesting footnote in music history is the EP's unusual 33 RPM format, an innovation that didn't catch on. Meanwhile, the B-sides of this EP, including Are You Lonesome Tonight, showcased Elvis's versatility, even if Flaming Star stole the show with its US chart position. This double aside reached number 5 in the US and number 4 in the UK, proving his broad appeal. His latest Flame Little Sister was another double aside that reached number 4 in the US and number 1 in the UK, highlighting how his songs performed differently across markets. The year 1962 brought the Follow That Dream EP, featuring the title track which made it to number 15 on the US charts and became a massive hit in the UK, topping the EP chart for 20 weeks. It was during this period that Elvis's music began to transcend borders, with tracks like She's Not You Just Tell Her Jim Said Hello reaching number 5 in the US and number 1 in the UK, showcasing his universal appeal. By 1963, Elvis was at the peak of his power, with You're the Devil in Disguise reaching number 3 in the US and number 1 in the UK. His music was a force to be reckoned with, and his influence was undeniable. Tracks like Bossa Nova Baby Witchcraft and Mexico You Can't Say No in Acapulco further cemented his status, with Mexico You Can't Say No in Acapulco finding success across Europe. The EP Viva Las Vegas US, Love in Las Vegas UK showcased his evolving sound, with the UK version featuring the hit Love in Las Vegas reaching number 9. This period marked a transition in Elvis's career, with his music becoming more varied and sophisticated. Throughout 1965 and 1966, Elvis kept the charts buzzing with tracks like Blue Christmas White Christmas, Tickle Me EPs, and Indescribably Blue Fools Fall in Love. These songs demonstrated his ability to blend traditional holiday tunes with his signature rock and roll flair. The Tickle Me EPs in particular highlighted his versatility, with the UK version reaching number 8. By 1967, Elvis was exploring new musical grounds with songs like Long-Legged Girl with the Short Dress On and Big Boss Man You Don't Know Me. These tracks showed a more mature side of the artist, with Big Boss Man You Don't Know Me reaching number 38 in the US and number 25 in France, illustrating his international reach. The late 1960s brought more hits, including Guitar Man High Heel Sneakers and The Wonder of You Mama Liked the Roses, the latter becoming a massive hit in the UK, topping the charts for 6 weeks. These songs cemented Elvis's status as a versatile artist who could captivate audiences with both original compositions and live performances. As we delve into the RCA singles from 1969 to 1977, it's clear that Elvis's influence remained strong. Hits like In the Ghetto Any Day Now and Suspicious Minds You'll Think of Me showcased his evolving sound and social consciousness. These songs not only charted well but also reflected the changing times, with In the Ghetto addressing social issues and Suspicious Minds offering an introspective look. Elvis's music during this period was a reflection of his growth as an artist and his response to the world around him. His ability to adapt and innovate kept him at the forefront of popular music, ensuring his legacy would endure long after his time on stage ended. In the early 1970s, Elvis Presley was making a comeback with his music. In 1970, his singles You Don't Have to Say You Love Me and Patch It Up did really well in the UK charts, reaching number 11 and number 16 respectively. These songs helped re-establish Elvis in the UK music scene. In 1971, Elvis released more songs that found success in both the US and UK. CC Rider was a hit in France, reaching number 28, while in the US, I Really Don't Want to Know and There Goes My Everything did moderately well, peaking at number 21 and number 57 on the country charts. The UK audience loved Rags to Riches and Where Did They Go, Lord, which reached number 9 and 12 in Ireland. The following year, Elvis continued to charm listeners with songs like Heartbreak Hotel, Hound Dog, and Don't Be Cruel. This album, released in a special package, was a huge success in the UK, reaching number 10. It marked the first time one of Elvis' albums made the UK charts. Throughout the early 1970s, Elvis kept releasing music that resonated with fans in both the US and UK. Songs like Life, I'm Leavin', and It's Only Love showed his versatility as an artist. However, it wasn't until 1971 that I Just Can't Help Believin' became a major hit in the UK, reaching number 6, even though it didn't get a US single release until 1980. The early 1970s also saw Elvis experimenting with different sounds. An American Trilogy and The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face showcased his ability to blend country and traditional music. These songs did well in the UK, reaching number 8 and 12 respectively, even if they didn't have the same US success. As the decade went on, Elvis continued to produce hits. Songs like Burning Love, Separate Ways, and Polk Salad Ann did well in the UK, with Burning Love even reaching number 2 in the US. His music was a mix of rock, country, and pop, appealing to a wide audience. After Elvis' untimely death in 1977, RCA released a series of singles that kept his legacy alive. Songs like My Way and Unchained Melody did well in the UK, reaching numbers 9 and 6 respectively. These reissues showed that Elvis music continued to touch people's hearts even after he was gone. RCA's strategy in the UK changed after these successful reissues. They started releasing more singles and promoting Elvis music more actively. This led to several chart successes, with songs like It's Only Love and Santa Claus is Back in Town reaching the top 10 in the UK. In the years that followed, Elvis music continued to evolve with remixes and collaborations, such as A Little Less Conversation featuring JXL, which became a massive hit worldwide. His classic songs like That's All Right, Mama also found new life in the UK charts, reaching number 3. Elvis Presley's music has stood the test of time, captivating audiences for decades. His ability to blend different genres and connect with listeners made him a timeless icon. As new remixes and reissues continue to surface, his influence on music remains strong, proving that his legacy will never fade. In the world of music, especially for legendary artists like Elvis Presley, reissuing classic albums is a way to introduce new generations to the timeless sound of the past. In the mid-2000s, RCA Records took a nostalgic journey, re-releasing some of Elvis's most beloved UK chart hits. This move was not just about putting old songs back on the shelves, but also about celebrating the music that had captured hearts for decades. In 2005, RCA started this journey by releasing all 18 of Elvis's UK #1 singles. They did something special. They gave buyers a cardboard box with the first release, featuring the iconic All Shook Up. This box became a collector's item, showing how much fans still cherish these songs. 2 years later, in 2007, RCA did it again. They released another set of 18 hits, continuing the tradition of the special box, this time with Heartbreak Hotel as the starting point. These releases weren't just about selling records, they were about sharing pieces of music history. Now let's dive into some of Elvis's key albums from his early career, explaining them in simple terms. Elvis's first US album came out in 1956. It featured a mix of songs, including the famous Blue Suede Shoes, which became a huge hit. This album was a blend of country and rock and roll, showing Elvis's unique sound from the start. The very next year, Elvis released another album in the UK called Rock and Roll No. 2. This album was slightly different from its US counterpart, featuring 7 tracks that were unique to the UK version. It showed how Elvis's music was adapting to different markets. In 1957, Elvis and Rock and Roll No. 2 were released together in the US, marking Elvis's rising star. The US version had 12 tracks, while the UK version had 10, with some different songs. This was common back then. Albums often varied between countries. Loving You, released in 1957, was another huge success for Elvis. It had hits like Mean Woman Blues and Loving You, showing his growing popularity. This album was notable for being one of the first to achieve significant success in both the US and UK charts. Elvis's Elvis Christmas album, released in 1957, brought holiday cheer with songs like White Christmas and Santa Claus is Back in Town. This album showed Elvis's ability to make traditional songs feel new and exciting. The Elvis Golden Records series began in 1958. These albums were special because they included multiple singles, both sides of the records, in one package. It was innovative at the time and set a new standard for album releases. King Creole, released in 1958, marked a step into more sophisticated music for Elvis. This album was unique because it had the same content and cover in both the US and UK, rare for that time. It showed Elvis's growing maturity as an artist. These albums and releases tell a story of an artist evolving, adapting, and captivating audiences around the world. RCA's decision to re-release these albums in the 2000s was a way to honor Elvis's legacy and share his music with new fans. Through these reissues, fans could experience the excitement of Elvis's early hits, from his rock and roll beginnings to his holiday classics. Each album was a piece of music history, and RCA's efforts ensured that this history continued to resonate with people decades later.